Hey there. Welcome to this deep dive. Today we're going to be exploring something I think you've been wanting to learn more about.
Okay.
The Baha'i faith's approach to empowering young people. And what's really cool is this isn't just some abstract philosophy. The Baha'i faith has actual programs and practices in place based on a pretty unique view of youth. In fact, one of the core Baha'i teachings uses this really striking metaphor. Regard man as a mine, rich in gems of inestimable value. Education can alone cause it to reveal its treasures and enable mankind to benefit therefrom.
Wow.
What jumps out at you from that?
Well, it's fascinating here how it reframes our entire concept of a young person, right?
Yeah.
They're not empty vessels to be filled, but rather a source of potential just waiting to be tapped. And education in this sense isn't just about memorizing facts, it's about creating the conditions where those inner gems can be discovered and polished.
So it's more about nurturing what's already there than imposing something from the outside.
Exactly. And think about the implications of that. When you approach a young person with that kind of respect and expectation, how do you think it changes the dynamic?
I imagine it creates a sense of trust and empowerment. Like, hey, you have something valuable to offer the world, but how does that play out in practice?
Well, for the Baha'i faith, it starts with recognizing that young people aren't just the future. They have a vital role to play right now. One of the writings even says, the youth of today must advance and grow in capacity and responsibility. For in the coming century, the requirements and necessities of civilization will be so great as to demand of them an unprecedented degree of capability and development.
That's a big responsibility, isn't it?
Yeah.
It almost feels like a complete reversal of how society often treats teenagers, where they're sort of stuck in this not quite adult holding pattern.
It's a huge shift in perspective. The Baha'i faith is saying that we need to move beyond this idea, that young people are passively preparing for some distant future. They have the energy, the ideals, and frankly, the urgency to be shaping the world today.
So it's not just about protecting them or controlling them, but about creating the space for them to actually contribute.
Precisely. And that's where this emphasis on holistic education comes in.
Now, we hear that phrase a lot, but what does holistic education actually look like within the Baha'i framework?
It means that education goes far beyond the classroom. Yes, academics are important, but the Baha'i faith puts equal emphasis on moral and spiritual development. They believe in cultivating virtues like honesty, kindness, perseverance, humility.
So it's not just about how to make a living, but how to be in the world.
Exactly. It's about developing the whole person, not just filling their heads with facts. Imagine a world where those qualities were at the forefront of how we raised young people. What kind of society do you think that would create?
Well, it makes me think about all the challenges young people face today. The pressures, the uncertainties, the constant stream of information. If they have that strong moral compass, that resilience, that sense of purpose, it seems like they'd be much better equipped to navigate it all.
Absolutely. And remember, we're not talking about imposing a rigid set of rules. The Baha'i approach encourages critical thinking and independent decision-making. These virtues are seen as tools to help young people make their own choices, to stand up for what they believe in, to become active agents of change in their own lives and communities.
And this idea of action seems really key in the Baha'i faith, especially when it comes to service. It's not just something you do on the side, it's woven into the very fabric of the belief system, right?
That's right. One of the central Baha'i teaching states, the betterment of the world can be accomplished through pure and goodly deeds, through commendable and seemly conduct. So it's not just about being nice, it's about taking action, putting your beliefs into practice, and that can take many forms.
What are some of the ways that service is expressed within the Baha'i community?
It really runs the gamut. From individual acts of kindness to organized community projects to global efforts for peace and justice. The key is that it's motivated by a spirit of love and unity, a desire to contribute to the well-being of others and make the world a better place.
So it's about seeing yourself as part of something larger and recognizing that your actions, even small ones, have a ripple effect.
Precisely. And it's important to note that service isn't seen as something you have to do, but rather something you get to do. It's a privilege to contribute, to make a difference, to be part of something bigger than yourself.
And I imagine that sense of purpose is incredibly empowering, especially for young people who are trying to figure out their place in the world.
It absolutely is. And you see that reflected in one of the Baha'i faith's most impactful programs, the Junior Youth Spiritual Empowerment Program.
Now, this program is specifically designed for 11, 15-year-olds, right? That's such a pivotal age. Why do you think this particular age group is so crucial to target?
Well, think about what's happening during those years. Young people are transitioning from childhood to adolescence, figuring out who they are, grappling with complex issues, facing social pressures. It's a time of immense potential, but also a lot of vulnerability.
It feels like they're right on the cusp of so much.
Exactly. And this program provides them with tools and a framework to navigate those years in a way that's empowering and positive. It helps them develop a strong sense of self, a moral compass, and the skills to make a difference in their communities.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued. Let's unpack this program a bit more. What exactly does it involve?
At its heart, the program is about helping young people discover their own inherent nobility. It's about recognizing that they are not just problems to be solved, but resources to be tapped. The curriculum encourages them to think critically about the challenges facing their communities and to develop their own solutions.
So it's not about imposing a set of answers, but about equipping them with the skills to find their own answers.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just intellectual development. The program also focuses on building their capacity for service.
What kind of service are we talking about?
It varies depending on the community and the interests of the group, but it's always about taking action to make their surroundings a better place. For example, they might organize a cleanup drive, plant a community garden, or tutor younger children.
So they're not just learning about abstract concepts, they're actually putting them into practice.
Precisely. And this is where the real magic happens. When young people see that they have the power to make a difference, their confidence blossoms. They develop a sense of purpose and belonging, and they start to view themselves as agents of change.
It sounds like this program is really putting those core Baha'i teachings into action. It really does sound like it, and we're back diving deeper into the Baha'i Faith's Junior Youth Spiritual Empowerment Program. You were telling us how this program really puts those core teachings into action, especially when it comes to empowering young people to serve their communities.
Yeah.
I'm curious to learn more about what kind of impact it's having around the world.
What's so exciting about this program is that it's not just a theory. It's been implemented in all sorts of communities, from bustling cities to remote villages. And the results have been pretty remarkable.
Give us a sense of what that looks like. What are some specific examples of the program's impact?
Well, in one community, I learned about a group of young people in the program noticed that the elderly residents in their neighborhood often felt isolated and lonely.
Yeah.
So they decided to take action. They started organizing weekly visits where they'd spend time with the elders, listening to their stories, playing games, and just offering companionship.
That's so heartwarming. It sounds like a simple act, but I imagine it made a huge difference in the lives of those elders.
It absolutely did, but the impact went beyond that. The young people involved also experienced a profound shift. They developed a deeper sense of empathy, a stronger connection to their community, and a realization that they had the power to make a positive difference.
That's the ripple effect you were talking about earlier, right?
Exactly. And it highlights another key aspect of the program, the emphasis on consultation.
Consultation. What does that mean in this context?
It's about creating a space where young people feel empowered to share their ideas, to voice their concerns, and to work collaboratively to find solutions. It's not about adults dictating what needs to be done, but rather facilitating a process of collective decision-making.
So it's more about guidance than control.
Precisely. And that approach can lead to some truly innovative and impactful initiatives. For example, there was a group of young people in the program who were concerned about the amount of litter in their neighborhood park. Instead of just complaining about it, they decided to organize a community cleanup day. They reached out to local businesses for support, created flyers to spread awareness, and even designed a fun interactive game to get younger kids involved in picking up trash.
It sounds like they turned it into a real community event rather than just a chore.
That's exactly what they did. And the impact was amazing. Not only did they clean up the park, but they also fostered a sense of community pride and inspired others to take ownership of their surroundings.
It's incredible to think that these young people, who are often seen as passive recipients of knowledge or entertainment, can be such active agents of change.
That's the beauty of the Junior Youth Program. It taps into their inherent potential and gives them the tools and the platform to make a real difference. And this approach has proven effective in tackling all sorts of issues, from environmental concerns to promoting literacy to fostering interfaith dialogue.
It really speaks to the Baha'i belief in the interconnectedness of humanity, doesn't it? The idea that we all have a responsibility to contribute to the well-being of our communities and the world at large.
Absolutely. And the Junior Youth Program helps young people internalize that principle and put it into practice. It's not just about learning about service. It's about living a life of service.
Now, you mentioned earlier that the program also emphasizes moral and spiritual development. How does that aspect play out?
It's woven into everything they do. For example, each session begins with a period of reflection, where the young people are encouraged to think about their own strengths and weaknesses, to consider their role in the world, and to connect with something greater than themselves.
So it's about nurturing their inner lives, their sense of purpose and meaning.
Exactly, and that inner strength is what fuels their actions in the world. It gives them the resilience to face challenges, the compassion to connect with others, and the courage to stand up for what they believe in.
And I imagine those qualities are even more important today, given all the pressures and uncertainties young people are facing.
You're absolutely right. They're bombarded with messages that tell them to focus on themselves, to strive for material success, to fit in with the crowd. This program offers a counter-narrative. It reminds them of their inherent nobility, their capacity for love and compassion, and their power to create a better world.
So it's like an antidote to all the cynicism and negativity they're exposed to.
That's a great way to put it. It's about empowering them to choose a different path, a path that leads to both personal fulfillment and social transformation.
Now, I know that the program relies heavily on mentors. What role do these mentors play in the process?
The mentors are the heart and soul of the program. They're not just facilitators, they're companions, guides, and role models. They create a safe and supportive environment where young people can explore their ideas, share their doubts, and learn from their mistakes.
So it's about building relationships based on trust and mutual respect.
Exactly. The mentors don't impose their own beliefs or opinions, but rather they help the young people discover their own truths and develop their own agency.
Sounds like a pretty special dynamic.
It really is. And the impact on both the mentors and the young people involved is often profound. The mentors are constantly inspired by the idealism, energy, and compassion of the youth, and the young people benefit from the wisdom, guidance, and unwavering support of their mentors.
It's like a beautiful cycle of empowerment where everyone involved grows and learns from each other.
It's a beautiful way to describe it. And this dynamic is not just limited to the program itself. The Baha'i faith encourages this kind of intergenerational connection in all aspects of life.
So it's about creating a community where young people feel seen, heard, and valued.
Precisely. And that sense of belonging is so essential for their development. It gives them the confidence to express themselves, to take risks, and to strive for their full potential.
Now, we've talked a lot about the program's impact on individuals and communities, but I'm also curious about its broader implications. What can we learn from the Junior Youth Spiritual Empowerment Program in terms of approaching youth empowerment in general?
That's a great question. I think one of the key takeaways that young people are not just problems to be solved, but partners in creating solutions. When we approach them with respect, trust, and high expectations, they rise to the occasion.
So it's about shifting our mindset from what can we do for young people to what can we do with young people?
Exactly. It's about co-creating a better future rather than imposing our own vision on them. And I think the Junior Youth Program offers a powerful model for how to do that effectively.
It's inspiring to think about the possibilities when we tap into the energy and idealism of young people and create the space for them to shine.
It truly is. And it gives me hope for the future when I see these young people taking action, making a difference, and living their lives with purpose and meaning. I know that the world is in good hands.
It's a powerful reminder that even in the face of complex challenges, there's always reason to be optimistic. And we're back, ready to hear more about how the Baha'i Faith's Junior Youth Spiritual Empowerment Program is making a real difference in the lives of young people worldwide. I'm especially interested in those gems of inestimable value, the unique talents and contributions that emerge when young people are given the space to shine.
It's incredible to see how this program sparks a sense of agency in young people, encouraging them to identify and address the needs of their communities. In Zambia, for example, a group of young people in the program were concerned about the high dropout rate of girls in their local school. They realized that many girls were leaving school because they lacked access to sanitary products.
That's a challenge we hear about in so many parts of the world. It's heartbreaking that something so basic can derail a young person's education. What did these young people do?
They didn't just sit back and lament the situation. They learned how to make reusable sanitary pads. and organized workshops to teach other girls in the community. They even partnered with local organizations to advocate for greater access to sanitation facilities in the school.
So they tackled the issue on multiple levels: practical, educational, and even systemic change. That's impressive.
It really shows how the program empowers young people to become agents of change within their own communities. And it's not just about addressing practical needs. In India, there's a group of young people who are using the arts to promote interfaith understanding and harmony.
Okay, I'm really intrigued. How are they doing that?
They formed a musical group that incorporates elements of different religious traditions, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian, and Baha'i, into their performances. They travel to different villages, performing their music and facilitating workshops, where young people from diverse backgrounds can connect with each other through shared artistic expression.
So it's about finding common ground through creativity and celebrating the richness of their diverse cultural heritage. That's such a powerful way to bridge divides and foster unity.
And it highlights another key aspect of the program, the emphasis on developing moral and spiritual qualities, like compassion, justice, and unity. These aren't just abstract concepts, they're lived experiences that are woven into every aspect of the program.
It makes me think about the quote we discussed earlier. The betterment of the world can be accomplished through pure and goodly deeds, through commendable and seemly conduct. It's not enough to just talk about these values, it's about putting them into action.
Exactly. And the Junior Youth Program provides a framework for young people to do just that. It's not just about service projects. It's about developing a way of life that's rooted in these principles.
It sounds like the program is having a ripple effect, not just on the individuals involved, but on their families and communities as well.
Absolutely. When young people start to see themselves as capable, compassionate, and connected to something larger than themselves, it changes how they interact with the world around them. They become more engaged citizens, more thoughtful friends, and more supportive family members.
And that positive change can then radiate outwards, inspiring others to do the same.
Precisely. It's a beautiful example of how individual transformation can lead to social transformation.
This has been a truly eye-opening deep dive into the Baha'i faith's approach to youth empowerment. What stood out to you most about this exploration?
What struck me most is how this program, rooted in a spiritual framework, translates lofty principles into practical action. It's not just about preaching values, it's about empowering young people to live those values and make a real difference in their communities.
And it underscores a point we've touched on throughout this deep dive. Young people are not just the future. They are a force for positive change right now.
Absolutely. They possess the energy, idealism, and creativity to tackle some of the world's most pressing challenges. And the Junior Youth Spiritual Empowerment Program, with its emphasis on service consultation and moral development, offers a powerful model for how to unlock that potential.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway you hope our listener will hold on to?
If you're looking for a way to nurture the inherent potential of the young people in your life, to guide them towards becoming agents of positive change, the Baha'i approach offers a wealth of wisdom and inspiration. Remember that each young person is a mine rich in gems. What can you do to help those gems shine?
Thank you for joining us on this fascinating journey of discovery. Until next time, keep diving deep.